Alright, what's good, y'all? We're watching three creepy true college dorm horror stories by Ripshy. Let's check it out.
Just a few years ago, I graduated from college. My name is Kaylee, I'm 26 years old, and I was studying business.
This shit loud for me.
Anyways,
My fault.
that's enough about me for now. I remember it all just like it was yesterday. The worst and most terrifying day of my life. It was just another normal day in the life of me waking up at 5 o'clock and getting ready. I wake up really early so I have time to shower, do my makeup, and just sit around and enjoy my morning before school. All of a sudden, I received a text from my best friend Eva. She started blowing my phone up, so after about the fifth message, I put down my hair straightener so I could see what all the fuss was about. She was texting me about her boyfriend, saying the usual, how he was crazy and was acting psycho again. This was nothing new, although still very alarming because her ex was genuinely crazy. He was super controlling and very invasive. He didn't let Eva have an ounce of privacy. My friends and I hated him from the get-go, and we never had any clue as to what she saw in him. But at the end of the day,
for real,
I would have known just how crazy he was.
Like, why the fuck would you date that fool? If that fool's kind of crazy, you know? Like, damn, like, whatever for it. That's her though, you know?
I would not have let her
I'm
stay with that
I don't know,
she did. So everything hit its breaking point when her boyfriend, who I'm going to call Alex for the sake of this story, started accusing Eva of cheating and all this nonsense.
This fool.
Eva was getting sick of the constant interrogations by him, so she ended up blocking him for the whole entire day. We thought that was going to be the end of it. She was my roommate. Well, not technically, but she would sneak into my room just about every night, and we would study and gossip or whatever. I guess she forgot to unblock him or something, but I don't know. It was around 10 o'clock at night when all of a sudden she received a notification. We must have both been just drifting off asleep, because I remember that it had woken us both up. The text was a message request from a stranger on Instagram. The message read, "Open the door."
Nah.
All of a sudden, there was this loud banging on the door.
Fox,
I started to panic. Probably not as bad as Eva, though. Because once we put two and two together, we realized that it was almost certainly Alex coming for revenge.
Sure about a
Our
bat.
plan was to sit and wait it out and hope
hit
he
that
would
fool
just
with
go
the
away,
bat.
but that didn't
Be
work.
real.
"Let me in, you stupid bitch. I know you're in there. You've just been caught red-handed." The man was practically screaming, and it didn't even sound like Alex, but we knew it was him deep down. I knew right then and there that we weren't going to get off easy. He had been at the door for probably 5 minutes, and he even started kicking it, trying to break it down. I called the police, but who knows how long it would take for them to show up. Out of nowhere, I heard loud footsteps dissipating in the distance, and they grew quieter as they moved farther away, until eventually, it was dead silent. Apparently, the noise awoke my dorm neighbors, and two separate people actually got a hold of the campus night security, and they showed up to my door just a minute later. I was skeptical at first that maybe it was just Alex trying to trick us, but I was feeling ballsy, so I just opened the door and tried my luck. I told them what happened, and when the police finally arrived, I told them as well. While an officer was talking with us, another deputy actually found him in the parking lot trying to escape. He was caught with a knife,
damn, with the knife,
and a bunch of pills.
Yup.
It disturbs me to even think about what he was going to try and do that night, but I think it's best for me to not try and imagine.
Low key fool. That's what I'm saying. She should have a bat, you know? A bat, whatever, a knife too. Yeah. Cause I thought would have stabbed her, no cap, or I don't know if she would stab her, you know? Who knows, who knows? But let's get back into it.
I stayed up until probably 1 o'clock in the morning that night, and I woke up probably once or twice in the middle of the night, and every time I struggled to fall back asleep. That's how frightened I was. I knew he was in jail, but it shook us up so badly that for the next few weeks, Eva and I stayed in a friend's dorm until we were comfortable with being in our old room again. That wasn't the end of Alex, though, unfortunately. Eva broke up with him for good after that, of course, but he would still try to come around sometimes.
Nah.
He He was never as
He's
violent,
tripping.
but
He's
still,
tripping.
there was something seriously off about that guy. When I was in college, something weird happened to me. I was 21 at the time and a full-time student. I was living in my dorm, but also part-time staying at home with my parents still as well. One night, I was in my friend's room and we were just hanging out for a bit. Once dusk started to show outside, that was usually my cue to go back to my dorm for the night and get settled in. Well, we got carried away playing the Wii and I lost track of time. It was probably around 9 o'clock when I picked my phone up that I realized what time it was. It wasn't really a big deal or anything, but I told my friend it was getting late and that I should probably head out. He agreed as well and we said our goodbyes. I had to use the restroom before I went back to my room. The bathroom was well out of my way, but I really had to go, so I figured I'd better hurry. When I turned the corner and looked down the hall, the lights were flickering in front of the bathroom. The
No.
bathroom was all the way at the end of the hall to the left, and it looked really creepy. I would be lying if I said I didn't stop in my tracks and stare for a second. Looking back, I was definitely being a pansy, but something inside of me must have knew something was off. After a few seconds of standing there, I heard some strange noises coming from the bathroom. There were some banging sounds along with some squeaky footsteps. I sort of just stood there for a second, trying to decide if I should just turn around and go to the other bathroom. But the other bathroom was really far away, and I felt like I was just being paranoid, so I decided against that. I made my way to the entry, and as I got closer, I could feel this negative energy in my chest. It almost felt like it was telling me to turn around, but I ignored it. I was probably no more than 10 steps away from the entry at this point. As I walked in, I thought I saw a shadow out of the corner of my eye, but when I turned my head, I didn't see anyone. I started to hear a faint whisper, despite how creeped out I was feeling and that my whole body was in shock. I started opening the stalls one by one, and surely, after opening a few, there he was. I had to rub my eyes to make sure I was seeing clearly. It was the freaking janitor. He was sitting on the toilet all tweaked out, and he looked like he had just been through some shit. He was sitting in there doing drugs and was borderline unconscious. He seemed to be going through some sort of drug-induced psychosis, but I'm not an expert. All I know is he looks crazy, and I wanted no part of it. Like your average crackhead you would see on the side of the road in a rough part of town. I always knew he was weird, but geez, I didn't help him either. As a matter of fact, I didn't even say a word to him, and I'm pretty sure he didn't even notice me one bit. That might sound kind of shitty of me, but I really didn't want to get involved. I never snitched on him either. I just did my business in the bathroom and left. By the way, I know what you're thinking. I didn't just leave him there to die. I was almost positive he wasn't overdosing, but just going through it. Either way, it's not my job to look after a 50-year-old man.
That fool was getting high as
From the
fuck
looks
though.
of it, he must have been masturbating or something too. Because he had his pants pulled down with his underwear half covering his genitals and his hands in his drawers.
Yeah, fool. Oh, mummies.
I was honestly just so creeped out that I wanted to get out of there as soon as possible and never have to think of that shit again. I know I probably should have told someone with authority at school, but I never did. Of course, I told some friends about it though, and the word got around about what he was doing, but no one was really surprised. Besides, he has a lot worse rumors than that to worry about. Apparently he's a kitty fiddler. I don't even know if that's true, but what I do know is he's a menace to society. I hate to be prejudiced, but there is something wrong about him, and I felt that way about him from day one. One night, I must have just dozing off, because the last thing I remember was watching that OG movie Sandlot. But I awoke in a slight panic when I heard a loud noise coming from outside my room.
Damn, what
I
the
was in college
fuck?
at the time, so I was living in a small dorm. It wasn't usual to hear people outside in the hall that late at night. I looked at my phone, and it was midnight. I listened for a second as the noise continued. I waited a little longer, but suddenly it went quiet. I thought it was nothing, so I said screw it, and I put my head back down. Just as I was about to doze off, someone started banging on my door.
Damn,
I
bro.
literally
Fuck
jumped out of my
no.
bed. this time pretty pissed off because at this point, I thought it was either a friend or just some random person messing with me. I stormed out into the hall after opening my door, but no one was there. I didn't know what to think, so I just yelled in hopes that they would hear me and that whoever it was knew I wasn't messing around. I shut and locked the door, but I kept my eyes and ears peeled for like 10 minutes. And sure enough, a banging sound on my door came yet again.
What the fuck?
But this time, with a loud scream from a guy. He was screaming over and over, saying to help him. Once again, I jumped out of bed and I rushed out there as fast as I could, but they were gone again. I was in such a fit of rage that I didn't even think about what I was doing. I just ran looking for them. When you walk out of my door, you can either go left or right, so I tried my luck with going right, because I just had that gut feeling. I had no reason to believe that they went that way, but ultimately I had to make a decision, and at this point, trying anything was better than nothing, as I was desperate to find out who the hell had been messing with me. I walked to the end of the hall and I turned the corner and I saw my best friend Thomas. Coincidence? I think not. What the hell is wrong with you, bro? You seriously freaked me the hell out, I said. Thomas swore he had no idea what I was talking about, but I barely believed him. He was either an incredible actor or it really wasn't him. I honestly wasn't sure what to believe. I think I just wanted to pin it on him and believe that it was him and that it was over. I should have listened to him though, because if I did, maybe I wouldn't have let my guard down so easily and had have gone through the most traumatizing experience ever. I'll never forget the look on Thomas's face as I walked back into my room. He genuinely looked confused. I had to be up really early in the morning though, so I was just ready to get back to sleep. I spent probably an hour tossing and turning in my sheets until eventually I think I started to doze off. When all of a sudden, there was kicking from under my bed. I jumped up and I looked under there, but there was nobody.
What the fuck?
At this point, I was sure that my mind was playing tricks on me. I was freaking out, so I walked out of my room and I planned on sleeping over at my friend's for the night. I hoped he was awake, as he usually was at this time of night. But as soon as I opened the door and stepped out into the hall, there he was looking at me from the other side of the hallway, staring blankly at me. Some sort of sharp pointy object in his hand. I don't know why I didn't just go back to my room. Everything happened so fast. I just made a split-second decision and I ran all the way across the hall and down some stairs. I then hid in the janitor's room successfully without the man seeing me. Still to this day, whoever he was has never been arrested, at least from what I know of. I don't know who he is or what he wanted with me, but he doesn't work for the school or anything because he was caught on camera and nobody recognized him. Somehow he escaped campus without being seen or caught, and no one has heard of him since.
Damn, that fool
Sometimes
probably
I
had a
wonder if he's
shank.
done this to other people, and that he's probably still out there. I honest to God feel like he could be a serial killer that has never been caught, or who knows. God was on my side that night.
Sure. Hard way. But pretty good, you know. I mean, the second one wasn't that much, like, you know, scary and shit, you know. But whatever, for the other ones were pretty, you know, pretty scary stories, you know. Other than that, fool, thanks for watching. Peace out.